Scott will speak better right now, because we're going to start what the hell are we on, the 5th week?
The 5th.
Week the 5th of Anime FMK. How was your week the 5th, Scott? How'd you do?
Well, it was my Thanksgiving week. Oh wow, dating this. No, it was actually really nice. It was probably the best Thanksgiving I've had in years, and I got to spend it with you.
I know, it was really fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
It was a good time.
I like Friendsgiving because honestly, when it comes to my family, I can take or leave like 90% of them. My dad and my sister are the only ones I care about. Then kind of my half brother and his kids, but then he's also got his racist wife, and then it just gets into all kinds of territory. But no, it was a good week. Good week. Yeah, good week for anime too.
I had a very strange experience this weekend. I watched all the anime that I was contractually obligated to watch for this show, and then I reached the end of it, and I hadn't watched enough anime. So I watched a bunch of My Hero over the weekend.
Oh,
boy!
And that's why I didn't say anything about this before, because I wanted to capture that on camera.
Wow, okay. How much did you watch?
Like 10 episodes, yeah.
So,
good.
Yeah,
so you got past the really slow beginning.
No, the beginning is great. I love it.
Oh, guys, we might have to have a whole different video to talk about this.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? If you two catch up on My Hero Academia, if we want to do a retrospective on the first 3 seasons, or 2 seasons before season 3 comes out, let's fucking do it.
I know people want us to do that, and who am I? That'd be pretty fun.
All right. Well, now that we've got percolating ideas for the future, let's talk about our dark, shitty present. Starting with Garo, Vanishing Line, Episode 8, Discount Vicious kicks Luke's ass. Mei Fong evacuates Sophie to an underground bunker, fighting off some horrors along the way. Sword fights Discount Vicious and eventually wins, but Discount Vicious disappears at the last second. This episode was a big old fight scene, so not a whole lot of plot to recap.
I don't care. It was so good.
All right.
I needed this. I needed this so badly. I'm sorry. Like, the last episode introduced some dark elements, killed the character. I was like, holy crap, they actually went through with it. And this episode was literally, nothing but just fight scene after fight scene. I was getting frustrated by the fact it's like, I need some action in this show. And then it's like, okay, here you go. Just enjoy all of this crazy over-the-top action. That makes me really nervous that we're about to get like a bunch more episodes of like, okay, now here's the falling action. And I'm like, oh boy.
How'd the action fall on you, Kieran?
I didn't like it.
Yeah?
It felt like the end of the second Avengers movie, where it was just constant action, and by minute 18, I was done. And there's no big climax to the action that really got me. He kind of just finishes him with a wet fart of an attack. So that's kind of why I was like, there's no super move. There's no big super ass Sentai Toku special finisher. It's just kind of a lariat, and there you go. So I don't know. I wish there was more talking this episode, and I never thought I would say that.
Oh, man. That sounds like we're going to have a lot of talking to do in Unsnipped, trying to resolve these contradictory opinions. But in the meantime, let's hold up some cards and see how we're all feeling. Kieran, hold up some cards.
I did not like this.
Wow.
At all. They are not introducing enough for me to care. Now that we're at the point where El Dorado matters, I think they really dropped the ball with whatever resolution this is supposed to be. I got nothing from this fight because I don't know who this is supposed to be, and I don't care for 20 minutes of fights between people I don't really have that much invested in.
Scott.
It's currently my action show right now, so I mean, maybe that's being a little nice to it, because I actually don't necessarily disagree with you. Like, while I was super happy to see all the action, the points you bring up, I still actually agree with. But to that extent, I got a lot of, this was scratching a Sakuga itch for me.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so in terms of that, I got a lot of what I needed out of this show. But otherwise, it's actually kind of boring besides that. But I'm still going to fuck it because I need my action show right now.
Guys, I'm going to kill this show. I'm right there with you, Kieran. This was a 20-minute fight scene between characters I don't give a shit about. Discount Vicious was so boring. I want to fight strong people. Oh, I've never seen this bullshit before. There were no stakes because they're both superpowered bullshit. It was like a kid banging two action figures together.
Yes, it was.
Like there was no impact behind the hits. It just kind of happened. Mei Fong can suddenly take on 50 horrors for no reason. Nah, didn't get anything out of it. So that's a double kill.
Oh, damn.
Off the bat.
I did not expect this.
Yeah.
I have some metagame in plan, and I did not expect this.
And by the way, like, by and large, I actually totally agree with you. Like, this fuck was only by the fact that I need my Sakuga. It's scratched. I like my fight scenes. This is literally the only show I'm getting this season that's doing this for me.
You don't have to defend yourself. I totally agree with you. I absolutely get it.
Yeah, otherwise...
This is like the nicest disagreement I have ever seen. Like, yeah, you're absolutely right. Except that I believe the exact opposite.
It's just the extent that, yes, I think every point, like the action was cool. I don't want to see it for another week.
Well,
that's just where that goes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something that we've been wanting to see every week, all weeks, forever. Inuyashiki.
I wasn't ready to talk about this, and I've been raring to talk about it.
Episode 7, Hiro confesses to Shion, aka Pubehead, not my nickname for her, Heroes, that he is guilty of the serial killings and shows her that he is a robot man. He says that humanity is now his enemy and he will kill everyone in the country. Shion tearfully begs him not to leave her and Gram alone. Hiro, in a huge about face, agrees, and Shion convinces him to use his powers for good. Hiro spends the rest of the episode healing the sick and settling in with Shion and Gram. However, as the episode ends, the police have tracked him to her apartment.
Love it.
I love that the most I love when in a show the craziest shit happens in the last 15 seconds because you know that it's about to completely undo everything that just happened, and it makes sense.
I gotta say, I thought this was the weakest episode so far.
Yes.
It's Hiro goes from kill all humans to befriend all humans on a dime, and it's basically an episode of pulling the same trick with him that the show has already pulled twice before, which is trying to lull the audience into thinking, hey, maybe he's turning over a new leaf. Maybe everything can turn out okay. And then pulling that rug out from under, which was incredibly effective the first two times, but by this time is like, no, we've seen this. It was still good. I will take the weakest episode of this show over the strongest of a lot of other stuff on the list. But it didn't do a whole lot in its 20 minutes, and this is a show that usually does a lot with its time. Kieran, how'd you feel?
I totally agree. This was the weakest episode so far. I agree. He totally shifts on a dime to where I thought this was some setup. I thought this was just he was going to be playing with his food kind of thing. Like, I thought he was full on gone. The only thing that kind of saved it for me was this tiny line he has. It's a blink and you'll miss it. After he's saved all these people, he says, "Does this make you happy?" He's only doing this for her. He doesn't care. He has no interest in this.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that kind of kept me tethered to, okay, he isn't completely gone. The sociopath hero is still there. He's doing this for someone else. Admittedly, still on a dime. I still don't buy the transition, but at least they kind of tried to pull it back in.
And I think there's going to be a lot of thematic and character stuff to unpack when we do get into Unsnipped, but in the meantime, let's hold up some cards. Guys,
You didn't get to... I'll say it when I hold mine up.
I'm still going to fuck it.
Yeah.
It's still very good. I hope that this is a rare downturn and it comes back up, but the show has built up more than enough goodwill for me to see it through an off episode.
Yeah.
So that's a try-fuck on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, as you said, the weakest episode of Inuyashiki is still towers above the best of some of this other shit.
Oh, yeah.
But let's see whether this episode of King's Game, the show that would not die, is the weakest, the strongest, or, well, let's just jump into the synopsis. Episode 8, Protag-kun returns from the village and meets with random lingerie brunette who has discovered mysterious internet data confirming that Psycho Chick is, in fact, the survivor of a previous King's Game. A new order from the king has everyone in their class seat order break any number of their own fingers, including 0. Right-hand fingers grant positive points, left-hand fingers negative, and these points can be assigned to anyone. And anyone who ends this process in the negative will be punished. Everyone passes breaking no fingers until Teriyaki, who, and I shit you not, pauses everything to give Protag-kun a haircut before breaking one finger on his right hand to give himself 1 positive point, and then breaks all the fingers on his left hand and assigns -5 points to Psycho Chick. I don't even know where to start. Kieran, talk at us.
This show won't die because it knows how to grab me. It knows just what to do the second I am fading fast, where I go, King's Game, you need to do something dumb. Real quick, I need to give you a haircut. I'm back in! What else do you have for me that's stupid? Oh yeah, this is great. Ha ha ha. I love using my hands one last time. Bam!
Scott?
You skipped over the best part of this whole episode.
And that was already a long synopsis, but
which is the scene where we get What's Her Crazy Face holding up as if a trophy a condom full of that one dude's semen, glimmering in the sunlight. Everything else in the episode was pretty bizarre. That haircut was crazy, but what the hell, King's Game? And that comedic scene where she just comes... Why, King's Game, must you continue to do this to me?
well, we'll see what it continues to do to us. Let's get our cards straight. And I got to tell you guys, at least for me, this did not circle back around to so dumb it's funny. I just hated it and felt insulted by it. I'm gonna kill this episode. Scott?
Yeah, I'm still killing it. Like, this wasn't as good as that last episode that I thought was hilarious and totally deserved of continuing another week on its own base. So no, I'm just gonna kill it.
I cried laughing.
Yeah, I can get that.
I don't know what it is about King's Game. It's like, because if this episode did not have the condom and the haircut, would have been gone. Those 2 scenes, enough. Perfect.
It's double kill. Oh, goddammit, King's Game. Can nothing destroy you? At most, it's going to go to an audience. Well, yeah. At best, it goes to an audience poll.
Yep.
And at worst, something else gets a try-kill, and it...
No, it's gonna be great. King's Game, if you make it all the way through, it will be my fault, and it's okay.
I hate you, Kieran. I'm going to kill all your babies. Speaking of Kieran's babies...
Oh, yes, please.
We have episode 8 of Kino's Journey, The Beautiful World, in which Prince Valium, his talking dog Doggo, and the living Precious Moments figurine known as T arrive at a country founded by former slaves whose mind control brain implants were controlled by radio broadcast. Valium offers to destroy the radio tower that still occasionally sends out random broadcasts forcing people to kill, but upon arriving finds the tower already in ruins. The citizens refuse to believe him and accuse him of being controlled by the tower, so he takes a hostage and leaves the country. To prevent the episode from coming up short on running time, T literally spends the last 6 minutes eating croissants. Speaking of weakest episodes, easily the weakest episode of Kino's Journey. It's a very simple story, which is fine as far as it goes, but once again, inconsistent characters doing stuff just for the lols. I don't even know what to say about this. Kieran, you love this show. How did you feel about this episode?
Totally agreed. It was the weakest one. The shit with T at the end was absolutely nauseatingly boring. It was really, really dull. The stuff with the Radio City was cool. I only like the fact that they can't accept that the radio station's broken, because that means they have to accept that they're all murderers. Like, that's the only cool context I really enjoyed about that. Yeah, definitely weakest episode.
Scott, you haven't been liking this show in general, with a couple of exceptions. Was this one of them?
It's kind of interesting because there were parts of this episode that I really liked, but by and large, I don't know. I like the dog. I like the dog so much. Everything involving the dog always makes me kind of happy because he's so personable. By the way, played by Sabat in the dub.
Is he really?
Yeah, he is.
That's good.
Which, trust me, his deliveries sometimes are just so good.
Awesome.
Honestly, I can still take or leave this series. Again, if I just dropped this and never went back to it, I would feel nothing. So yeah, no, I didn't feel this one. T is not quirky enough to be funny or endearing, and what's his face? Shiro?
Shiro.
Shiro is more interesting to me than Kino, but not interesting enough to carry this show.
Yeah.
Kieran, let's start with you. Hold up a card.
Sure.
Tell us if your goodwill for this episode will bring it through. Your goodwill for the series will bring it through an off episode, let us say.
Yes, it will. The radio stuff alone was enough to keep me engaged. And again, the reason I like this show and will continuously just watch it week to week is because of how sporadic it can be. If we have a stinker of an episode here, I still have full faith that next week, regardless of quality, will be something interesting. And that's all I look for.
Scott?
I mean, did you expect anything else?
Not really. Guys, I'm going to throw down a second knife. I feel like I have given this show enough episodes that I pretty much know what it is, and what it is a mixed bag. And this was that black licorice piece that...
Yes, absolutely.
that hurts the taste of everything it touches. So yeah, I can't recommend this show. I've been middling on it from the start. It's had some high points, but boy, this episode was a stinker. So that's another double kill on the board.
Yeah. Man.
So yeah, this should be an interesting week.
Oh my God.
Unless something comes up with the fabled triple dagger, we're gonna have a 3-way audience poll.
My God.
At minimum, a 3-way audience poll.
There's only one thing that could possibly take it, but I doubt it.
I was not expecting these developments when I went into this with a metagame plan.
I had a metagame plan, and it just got ruined as well. Trust me.
I think it'll still be salvageable, though.
You know what? It's likely going to come up to the audience, but we'll see. I made all my decisions going into this. I voted with my heart, and nothing will sway me. And nothing will sway me from reading the synopsis of episode 8 of Recovery of an MMO Junkie. Sakurai flashes back to when he used to play with Morioka in a now-defunct MMO. He recreates that previous character in the current MMO, and Morioka recognizes him immediately. She calls him later not immediately, but we'll get into that. She does recognize him. She calls him later that night, and they reminisce, and Sakurai admits to being Lily, but is cut off by a dead phone battery. Whoa! The two later meet up in person, and Morioka invites Sakurai to play with her and Lily, and Sakurai again admits to being Lily. This time Morioka hears him as the episode ends. Cliffhanger! Drop the mic. So I wish it hadn't taken this entire episode to do it, but I am glad that Morioka is finally caught up with everybody else, because I do not think they could have continued to drag out that revelation. I'm really curious to see where that goes next time. Kieran, how you feeling?
In a sea of worst episodes, I really enjoyed this one. I felt we had a Sakura-centric episode, I think 2 episodes ago, or was the last one? Whatever.
Last week. Yep.
Also having one here, I really enjoyed. I actually enjoyed the flashback here. I thought it was really cool. It gave kind of some weight to the importance of MMOs to them, and the whole time I was just nodding my head like, yes, I get you. Yep. Preach, brother. I totally understand. And it was really heartwarming to me, because this is something that could not have happened 15 years ago. So this is just a very modern fascination, and it's cool to see it depicted in fiction. So I just really enjoyed it.
2 things really caught me about this episode. 1, I loved its fake out of, well, guess it's going to go another week without him telling it. No. I liked that. You were talking about the fact that it took the entire episode. No, I'm actually kind of glad it did that, because it seemed like the show knew exactly what it was doing. In fact, what I think happened was in the manga chapter, it started when that call happened, and it ended in the same place this episode ended. Because if that were a chapter, that would be crazy. I guess it's, and then at the very end, I loved that. Secondary, God, the lighting in the show is so good.
It is.
Yeah.
Like the scene during when they're on the phone call, I was like, wow, the coloring and the lighting and dang, like, yeah, I thought this was a very good episode, and yeah, finally the last domino has hit the ground, and I'm like, thank you, because yeah, any longer, no way.
Well, this may be obvious, but I'm gonna go ahead and fuck it. I don't think this was the strongest episode, but it was very strong. I continue to enjoy this show very much, and I want to see it through to the end, if at all possible. Kieran.
Totally agree. I really enjoyed this one. I liked the throwbacks to just some. Here's why I enjoy playing games online. It's the kind of that bit where they mention being alone but not lonely. Just really resonated with me. I really enjoy what the show's doing. Totally loved it.
Ba-ba-da-ba-ba.
Trifecta.
Yeah, I'm fucking it. Because, yeah, that was, yeah, not the best episode, but by and large, I'm happy to see actual developments happen. I'm like, I loved the fake out. And again, everything about this episode looked so good.
Man, have we had all trifucks and double kills this week so far?
Yes.
That's kind of crazy.
Oh, yeah, wow.
But,
It is
It's
an up
only
and
the
down.
best, or it's.
yeah.
As you said, it's a sea of worst episodes for a
Kinda
couple
has.
shows.
Well, let's see if that sea continues or if we've caught sight of land in episode 8 of Black Clover.
Oh.
Go first mission. Scarboy and Captain Yami lose a poker game to the mayor of Sassytown and order Asta and Pigtails to hunt wild boars for him to repay their debt. A mysterious man with a prominent scar that makes it look like someone jizzed on his forehead arrives in Sassytown and ices up some boars. That's it. That's all that happened.
When I said I wanted to wait until Black Clover got to Zabuza, I didn't mean to give me a mist-themed villain. I did not literally mean give me Zabuza. I was kidding. This animation is real bad.
Yeah.
There were so many frames where it was holding on to Asta's nose and he looked like Kaiji. And it was ridiculous. It was absolutely terrible.
I am so tired of this show, guys. I don't know what to say about it anymore. Like, I watched the episode because I knew I had to talk about it here. I am not getting any enjoyment out of this. And spoiler, so I read the manga chapters that just covered this episode. I didn't read ahead. Mm-hmm. One chapter.
Yep.
This was one full chapter.
I'm not surprised at all.
They added so much, and it was so obvious because I'm like, wow, the pacing here is really slow. We are on chapter 6. We are on chapter 6,
Wow.
halfway through.
Oh, nice. That's good. This is a new Naruto.
Well,
No!
we've
That's
only
great.
got. Let's keep the suspense for the end. We'll start with me and move down the line. Nothing more to say that hasn't been said. The show is boring and it is bad. Killing it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously killing it. By the way, the manga is actually kind of enjoyable to read because it actually speeds through all of that stuff and actually is kind of funny. Like, it's a funny read. So...
Okay. Oh! I couldn't handle this episode. It was so bad. I couldn't handle how atrocious this was. And I only do this. My plan was to save King's Game and to kill Black Clover because I knew you guys would kill this episode. And I want King's Game to come back. Let's get Black Clover out. I love you. Done! I am done with this fucking show. I gave you so many chances, Black Clover. I really did. I have been the vocal defender for this. Everyone out there that likes it, I love you, but you're wrong. This show sucks balls. Manga's probably better, as you said, but this adaptation is hot garbage. Do not watch it.
Yep.
Well, unless we get a surprise upset from
Speaking of worst episodes, oh man.
from Ancient Magus Bride, I think we know what's dying this week. Mm-hmm. And we definitely do know that, like it or not, King's Game, the show that would not die, lives for another week.
I killed Black Clover. That's the good, right?
Yeah, no,
good.
fuck yes. I laughed at King's Game.
Yeah, exactly. I laugh at King's Game, Black Clover. I just wanted to die. Sorry, continue.
You know what? We'll have a chance to talk this through in Unsnipped. But in the meantime, Ancient Magus Bride, Episode 8, Elias, in his monstrous form, fights Silver's praying mantis chimera. Chise has a vision that reveals Ulysses, that's the black dog, Ulysses' true nature. Upon coming out of it, Chise recognizes Silver from the city of Katzark and becomes enraged, but Elias restrains her. Ulysses begs Chise to make him her familiar, saying that Silver will take him for experimentation without her protection, and she does so. Silver, defeated by the combined forces of Elias and Renfred, retreats. And that's another one of those synopses that is just a list of things that happen. It doesn't really reflect at all on the quality of this show in any way, shape, or form. This episode was real. Lots of stuff happens, but a lot of stuff is conveyed. There are whole characters that get introduced that I didn't have room to talk about there. Kieran, how you feeling about this episode?
I thought it was fantastic. The stuff, the whole, you're just glossing over, oh yeah, and he becomes his familiar, and period. No, the whole familiar thing is so well done. Again, we see Chise kind of having this ability to enter the minds of other entities, other creatures, and sharing their experience and really getting to know them, like we saw in the Dragon episode. And that was still my favorite. Seeing that come back here with now Ruth was really, really cool. I love the visuals. This show continues to excel at the fantastic and making things feel and just actually be visually so entrancing and magical. I really enjoyed it.
Man, so this episode has a lot going on in it, as we've said. I don't know where to begin because there was a lot of emotional resonance for me here. I really have no idea where to begin. Everything with Ulysses, everything with Silver, everything with Chise, and that's not even talking about Elias. By the way, it's Elias. In the dub, they call him Elias.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I
dubs get things wrong too.
I'm just saying they do get instructions from the Japanese.
Yeah, and they're always right. Go cow.
But yeah, no, we barely even talked about Elias in this and all the stuff going on with him. That was so fascinating, and I loved it. I loved this episode. It's probably my second favorite episode of the show right now. So, yeah, I've got some things to talk about that I didn't like, or at least made me kind of feel uneven. But, yeah, I mean, this is good Magus. Good Magus.
Well, I'm going to fuck it. I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was pretty uneven. Some things felt kind of rushed. The pacing was kind of all over the place, but as a package, I thought it was real good. Scott?
Yeah, I'm going to agree on the pacing part, and some other things that, again, I really like this episode. I love a lot of the things that are introduced, especially the Will-O-Wisps guy. I love him. But yeah, there were some pacing issues and maybe some ways they handled developments that I didn't particularly like, but still real good. Fucking it.
It's great.
There you go. Trifecta. It's great. And I don't blame you there, because going into any more detail than that is what Unsnipped is for.
That's right.
So guys, join us for the Unsnipped segment. You can click the thing-a-ding on the deedle-doo and watch that right now. But guys, Black Clover is dead.
Dead!
Praise be to heaven!
No,
We'll see you on the other side, where we talk about these surprising developments. And we will see you next week for more stuff. Take it easy, guys. See you next time. I just want to give another shout out and thank you to all of our lovely patrons at patreon.com/TFS. It really is your support that lets us do stuff like this. It's become one of the highlights of my week to sit around with these two goofballs and talk about anime. So much so that I will, in fact, suffer through another episode of King's Game for it. Thank you so much, you guys. See you next time.